Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vince down in Tampa. I got Megan on. We're going to be talking about the current environment of, how her company Elevate helps other companies enhance their, their business, how they're able to help consult and, make sure that they, streamline some of the processes they have to become better. And in the current environment, the 21st century with AI coming in and all these different technologies coming in, the workforce is shifting, degrees are shifting, and then people are just trying to figure out what they need to do to make this world a better place. Megan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so could you give the audience a little bit background on your background?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Michigan. Got my business administration degree, I got my bachelor's degree in business administration and sports management from Aquinas College in Grand Rapids. So I actually love Tampa. I won't move back to the snow, especially with the colder weather.
All right, so what part of Michigan are you from? Are you from the UP, or are you from you're from Detroit, or 8 miles? Where are you from?
So I'm actually from the other side, from the west side. So Grand Haven, it's a little small town, about 45 minutes west of Grand Rapids. Not too, I mean, Detroit's probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me, but I'm directly west of Detroit, I should say.
And don't they call that like the Tri-Cities or something? There's like
Yep,
some
the
nickname.
Tri-Cities
Yeah.
area. Yes,
Yeah,
you're
I've been
correct.
there. I've been there. I was just wondering. All right, so how'd you get on with the company Elevate?
So I actually have known the founder, Akash Patel, from moving down here. I was working at Center Club, which is a private business club, and local businesses can come there and work there, have local meetings, and there's private events as well. So I was actually just a server, and I met him, and he's one of my really good mentors, I should say. So
Hey, yeah, we got to have them. And I think networking and running into people, and it's really weird is that I've met more people that were, and I'll be honest, I was a person serving tables, working at a restaurant, and I met so many people, and then actually they changed the trajectory of my life by, that networking. So it's like California into Hollywood, people serving tables and then branching out. So,
yep.
the great thing about it in the current environment, is touch on it real quick on the 21st century, a lot of people are concerned about their jobs, AI, and we're not going to get into all that crazy political stuff. But what I will ask about is, as you guys look at your company as a strategic plan company that help people increase their performance, how are you guys kind of addressing the different concerns that people have? Because, job security is one thing, but that's a personal thing. But overall, how do you have companies kind of looking at the 21st century and how they streamline to be more effective?
Yeah, so what we do, I mean, we use public relation efforts like community activities and like different marketing endeavors, I should say, to help
Right.
clients achieve their goals. So, like, with that being said, we put them in the right room where they want to be if they want to expand their clientele. We also specialize in creating powerful relationships. So it's not just a transaction. It's built on genuine relationships, I should say. I mean, with our motto, learn, connect, and grow, we like
Right.
to learn about the community, or like learn about the company, and then connect with them and see like what their areas are on what they want to expand and like who they want to meet, for instance. Because the founder, Akash, he knows everyone and anyone, so around Tampa Bay. So that is it's a positive thing that he has, and which is amazing because I don't know anyone other than him that knows everyone.
Right. I mean, and in today's society, I think a lot of it has to do with connection and broadening perspectives. Like when I met you at the Tampa Club, I was there for some other reason with a bunch of other people for other things. And then somebody came up to me and was like, "You got to talk to Megan. You got to meet this girl. You got to talk to her." And I'm like, "Yeah, but," and I was getting pulled at like 900 different directions. But, the cool
Yep.
thing about it is, you have to make time, slow down, talk to everyone that that you can and reach out. And I think that's one of the positive things I think that you guys bring to the table as you guys kind of implement different strategies to help companies. And one thing I want is, how do you identify when you sit down with a company? How do you kind of identify some of maybe their shortfalls and then some of the things that they may need to do different? Because sometimes people don't have the right people in the right job, or sometimes people don't have, they're missing just an aspect. So how do you holistically kind of step back and look at a company's strengths, weaknesses, and probably their opportunities to be a better company?
So I mean, we kind of asked like, what are you looking to get at, like get out of
Yeah.
this community, I should say, because there's so many different moving parts on building relationships and getting in the right room, I should say. So
Right.
with that being said, we usually try to identify like what their biggest thing that they're lacking. If it's
Okay.
the networking, if it's the relationship side, or what it really entails for them to get to where they want to be. So with that being said, we like to like a lot of our community engagements are you're never going to be in the same. I mean, there are with Tampa being. I always say it's a big city in a small town kind of thing
Yes,
because
it
it
is.
like somebody will know someone or kind of thing like that. So we try to get different events that they'll attend. And putting them in different rooms out of their comfort zone and everything like that so they can meet other people and try to get to where they want to grow.
So I'm going to ask this because it's right in your wheelhouse. As you guys look at right now with companies, I don't think a lot of people at the mid level or senior level realize the power of social media.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you guys kind of helping them understand that, branding really is no longer print or magazines or, the old periodicals. It's really become how charismatic you can be with social media. So how do you guys kind of helping people shape that or tying them with people that can kind of help them with their social media?
So we're really big on LinkedIn. So we love to post pictures at the events that we do, or like that we attend. We bring
Right.
a lot, like every event that we go to, we take pictures with our clients. So our clients are kind of being out there as well. We do also have a newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks.
All
So
right.
if any information that they would like to share, it's kind of like we use our platform to be able to expose that to other in the community, I should say. We do have a pretty big database for the newsletter, so we love
Oh,
to do that. So that's amazing for them, I should say, and us as
okay.
well.
All right. So you kind of got like a conglomerate of different industries that are within your network, and then when people work with you, they get inside your network and they're able to expand their stuff because it's like you guys share their information with other clients within your own network, which will kind of help them grow their visibility with other people.
Yep. Yeah. We make sure that, like, if a new client is coming on, we always like to connect them with our clients within that. And I always kind of joke with all of our clients, and because I see them at all of the events, and I'm like, we're pretty much family. Like, this is how it is. Like, like everybody knows what they do. And it's almost like that's a great word of mouth as well, because some client might be talking to another person that we may not know. And it's like, oh, well, have you heard of so and so and everything like that. So it's building those relationships so you can kind of share like the other companies within everything else.
So, as you're sitting down working through this and you're pretty young, so you're getting great aperture and you're learning a lot. What is the biggest thing that you think that you have taken away since you stepped into your role with the company? What are some of the nuggets of knowledge that you could probably share with some of the younger people coming out of college right now? Because I think right now a lot of people are disenfranchised coming out of college. They just don't realize the word is grind, and you could touch on it about the grind if you're grinding,
Yes.
um, how much work you're putting in. Because I think there's a misconception that everything's like 9 to 5 and easy peasy, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions. So, what kind of advice would you give someone that's got an MBA or someone that's got a degree that falls in within the administrative world? What
Yeah.
advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would definitely say building genuine relationships. I think that has been my biggest key on me growing as a person. I mean, coming from a small town, we don't really have networking or anything like that. It's all about who you know and so and so. So,
Mhm.
and that's kind of like what I've really taken away, that it's building those relationships and following up. Like it sounds kind of silly, and like a lot of people, like the generation in my age, I should say, they don't like to step out the side of their comfort zone. They don't like to, they're
Right.
always on their phones, like it's always behind a screen. And it's like, be present in what you're doing. Because I mean, a lot of the times I'm most likely like the youngest person in the room, especially with the events that I go to. But like,
Right.
it's just talking to them and getting to know who they are. And it's not necessarily like, I don't just look at it like by transactional, if I'm going to be getting clients out of that. It's more like the relationship building, because you never know down the road they can help you in any way. So it's really making that foundation and getting yourself out there, because I mean, at first I was very nervous and I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. But I've grown so much as a person just getting out there and putting like almost making a way for who I am, you know? Like people just want to know who you are and, you know, not necessarily what you do or what company. It's about how you treat people. You know, it all comes back to the foundational skills, which a lot of people my age don't have that. So they don't know how to
Right.
talk to anybody. They just want to, or like even especially with chat gpt, it's like, oh, just chat gpt. I'm like, no, like use your brain, like use the skills that you have, that like the foundation that you have, because there's so many people that lack it or don't want to use it, you know?
Yeah, right. But I mean, you're touching on critical thinking, and sadly, the universities and the high schools don't teach critical thinking. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
standardize tests, and I think it's a lost art because my generation we had to do critical thinking. You know,
Yep.
and as you do your measurables as a person, what do you think you besides networking from just from an emotional standpoint, where do you think your biggest attribute has come from being in this situation? What trait do you think you've grown as a person? Confidence, or just deliberate thinking? Are you reading more books? Because you're in rooms with power brokers. So I've seen you. You're in rooms with guys that are retired generals. You're in there with CEOs. You're in rooms with I mean, and I call them, I say the 1% guys that have grinded and built industries. You're in those rooms. So, like for yourself, what have you kind of taken away looking at the mannerisms and those 1% people in the world? What have you taken away? And your boss, because there's certain things I'm sure you've watched him over time now, and there's some of those traits you now exuberate yourself.
Yeah, I would definitely say confidence is a big one. I mean, and also like just the respect, like respecting them. Like it starts with like a handshake, you know, like a smile. Like
I
it
like
comes,
that.
yeah, like it comes back with, and like even like the follow-ups, like getting to know, like even scheduling a coffee or something like that, just so you can get to know who they are. Because I mean, the confidence that I had 3 years ago, I probably didn't have anything. I wasn't going to message somebody that I wanted to get to know and ask them for coffee or anything like that. Because, I mean, it's like I said, you need to know who they are and like the basics. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go up to that person or like, but like you just have to introduce yourself and get yourself out there, you know?
Oh yeah. And so hold on, I want to just hit this real quick and bring this into the show. You guys are beautiful visual commercial that you have attached to your email, and how you guys address the environment. I really think it's a beautiful strategic picture that you guys are shaping, and it aligns with a lot of things. And what I want to ask you for your personal self, what do you align yourself right now with personal goals? What are you trying to achieve yourself as a successful person?
Yeah, I mean, like I love Elevate because like with it being with Elevate, I should say like, well, Akash is amazing. So he has been the one that has really pushed on like growing each individual person, because you never know, like I don't know how to really describe it, but you never know what you're going to run into in the future or anything like that. So like
Right.
there's different areas on, I mean, it's not just networking, it's everything, you know?
Right.
It's like
You got doors open for you. You have access, and I think a lot of people don't understand this. When you have access to certain people, even though you may not be the immediate person, but I know the friend of a friend of a friend.
yep, exactly. Exactly.
So I know this other friend that can get you with this friend, and they'll get you where you need to be. And I think that's big. So I was going to ask one stupid question, because this is always my funny one. I like to ask somebody your age is now. Do you guys do more text message, or do you actually pick the phone up and dial the number and call someone?
So, well, no, that's actually a great question, because I have, like, at first, I was always the texting person because I'm like, oh, like, and I'm a talker. So, like, I love to talk and everything. So, like, it's like I should be calling them. But I mean, nowadays, I pick up the phone. And if like, sometimes I'll send a text and be like, hey, do you have time right now? Or are you busy? Because obviously I know everybody's schedules are insane with with
Right.
business and everything. So I will pick up the phone and call them. And I mean, I'll give Akash credit to this. He's like, well, call them. Like, you should call them. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I need to,
I said it.
because
I
at
said it to
first
my
I was
20
definitely a
word.
texter.
I said it to my 20-year-old all the time. She's like, well, I sent an email. Or I text them. I said, Victoria,
Did
how
you call
hard
them?
is it for you to dial those numbers? Just call them and ask them. And then she says,
Yep.
Dad, I called them and I got the answer. Duh, yeah, here we go. You know,
And it's like leaving a message. It's almost you get the answer faster through the phone, like to call them instead of going back and forth, because it's always like people, like I said, people are busy, but if you leave that message, you're showing effort on trying to get a hold of them.
I agree, and I agree, and it gives you some kudos up there. So let me ask you this: so now that you're been down from Detroit, you got friends in Detroit, and so let me ask you, and this is kind of a coy question. As you reflect on when you were in Michigan and your time in school, and you see the person you are now, um, do people see you differently when you go back home or you talk to people? Is it like do they kind of make comments like you're not the person you used to be? Because you're starting to laugh and smile, but it's called the evolution of a person, and I think a lot of
Hmm.
times we don't step back and reflect on our evolution, even at short windows. So I just wanted to ask you that.
No, I think that's a great question because definitely they're like you're so much more outgoing. You're not afraid. I mean, it's kind of funny. One of my best friends moved here. Like, she's not from Michigan, but she's from Boston, and she's like, "Why do you talk to everybody?" I'm like, "Why don't you talk to everybody?
Talk to
Like,
everybody.
just a hi, just a smile. Like, you never know. Like, just showing just a smile just can brighten someone's day and like get the conversation going because it's like, oh, they're interested. And
Right.
it's just body language almost because I mean, and when I go back home, they're like, you just know everyone. I'm like, yeah, because I like to talk to people. Like I put myself out there and position myself because especially in college, like in COVID, because I was in college during COVID, and
Right.
we couldn't go out and meet people or anything like that. And I think that that's what I really lacked from putting myself out there and I'm like, there's really nothing. Like I really looked at myself. I'm like, there's really nothing here in Grand Rapids, like in Michigan for me, because even though I went to school and had all those connections, but it's like I didn't put myself out there enough to be able to have those experiences. Like I was
Right.
online just getting internships and stuff, like just applying to anything and everything. And I'm like, if I would have went into the company and everything, I probably would have had a better internship and positioned myself better because they don't know who I am just from an email or anything like that. Like
Right.
they like the personal connection.
Well, you just gave out some great advice because this is what I would always tell everyone. There's jobs in America. There's jobs. The thing is that
Tons.
you have to be able to willing to be able to be uncomfortable, move from where you're at to go somewhere else and then take chances. And I applaud you on that because a lot of people aren't capable of doing that. I mean, most people graduate from college, they want to be in the same area by their parents where they graduated and all that. I was totally opposite. So I was trying to get away from my parents.
Me too.
I was like, I
Me
got
too.
to go. Love y'all, but I got to go.
I
You
wanted
know,
warmer weather.
have you ever went back and thought about going back and speaking at any of your college classes about your experience of where you're at now? And I would challenge you to reach out to your professor if they're still teaching. I did it when I originally I spoke at Georgia Southern recently as the keynote speaker for Georgia Southern for graduation. However, I went back years before and actually went and visited my history class and actually spoke to the students that were in history class during that time. I'd been out like 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
So something I want you to think about is as you go forward, going back and paying it forward to those college students and letting them know, like, look, man, this is how the world really works. Because let me ask you this. What people tell you how the world works and how you're learning how the world works are not the same.
Oh,
So
100%.
at this point in your mind, how as you see the world and the challenges that you face every day, what's it kind of like that you've made that adjustment from being, living with your parents, getting out and actually having to tackle what I call adult problems?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I learned very quickly, like, mom and dad can't solve every problem that you thought they could. It's like you run into things and it's like, okay, so how are you going to navigate the next month or even the next week to fix this problem? Because, I mean, my college professors didn't teach you how to problem solve in that way. Like they just
Right.
teach you the the education to it and the material that like from the book. So
Right.
it's like until you're in that position and you can navigate out of it, that's how you grow the most. And like even my brother is like, Megan, you are going to grow the most in uncomfortable situations, like what you touched on, because you do, like yes, you're uncomfortable, but you're gonna get by. Like you're gonna get by. It's not the end of the world. And then you look back and like that problem was the smallest problem that you think was so big at the time. And I'm like, what was I thinking? Why was I stressing myself out over this little problem when? But now after learning that, you can navigate different situations on different problems and get to like and even do it better, you know? Like there's
Yeah.
always room for improvement on that because you're not just stuck in one place, you know?
Right.
And
So
until you move, then you can grow.
right, but you have to say that that was so critical back in school. Now you look back and say, oh, hell, I could have took a C in that class.
Exactly. I'm like, why was I studying for hours up till middle of the night just to even not get an A, you know? And I'm like, why? And I was actually a nursing student before. And I'm like, and I almost look back at it. I'm like, I so could have, like, I blamed COVID because I'm like, I don't want to do online, everything like that. But I'm like, I could always go back. Like, I have 2 years in, so I could finish out if I really wanted to. But it's like, why was I stressing out about that? Like there was no
Right.
reason to. And now look at where
I,
I'm at now, and I'm like, it's crazy how the world comes in full circle.
right. And look, and I'm looking at the rooms you're in, the people you're talking to, and the relationships you're building. And if you hadn't went through what you went through, you wouldn't be where you're at today. And I
100%.
applaud you for you taking that step, and getting out there. So, last question before we get out of here. So, now that you've stepped back and you work at Elevate, why do you think Elevate's such a wonderful company and people should really reach out for your services? Because not that I know that you're a great company, but I need you to give that pitch, because coming from me, there's like, well, she's on this podcast, so naturally, but I need to come from the source, a primary source yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you think Elevate is a great company to work with?
Because I mean, I really like how relationship driven it is. Like a lot of companies, I feel like just want, like I said, the transaction. Like they just want the
Right.
deal to be closed, and they don't really look at it. And I mean, a deal's not going to close the first time you meet them and the last time. Like you really have to build that relationship,
I like that.
and it gets you, like I said, like we're really focused on creating the powerful relationships. I mean, and that's with like high impact meetings. We do a lot of one-on-one introductions, like I said, intentional community engagement with like we're putting them in the right rooms where we think that they could grow the most. It's not just we're just gonna invite you to all these events that have nothing to do with
Right.
relationship building or like anything, because anywhere that where we go, we put them in the like we want them to grow in a way with us, like it's
Right.
not with like especially in the right decision makers. A lot of people, yeah, they get out there, but they're not with the decision makers, and that's what's the hardest part in closing anything, because and you need to build with the relationships built on that, then that's how you get the deals and stuff. So it really matters on where you are, the conversations you have in the communities, because that's what drives like the real growth, I feel like.
Oh no, absolutely. It's the old I had a car when I sold cars when in my younger years, someone told me this and I thought it was good. He says, just don't sell one car, sell multiple cars to the same person over years. So every time you build that relationship with a person and you sell that person that car, you want to make sure that you're selling that person that car with a clear relationship so that they want to come back to you. And so often people are worried about making the numbers. They forget that they may not make the numbers today, but they can make the numbers tomorrow or a month down the road. But because they're so fixated on the here and now, they lose sight of building a relationship. And I like how Elevate's taking that approach and that strategic picture is we're going to build a long-term relationship. So if you don't work with me now, I want you to work with me later. That's pretty good. So
Exactly.
my last question to you, you as a human being, as a person, what is your major advice that you would give to anyone that's thinking about being an entrepreneur or trying to be a startup? What would advice, since you've been around a lot of them, what was some of the advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I would say don't give up. Like it's so easy to give up in a way and just be like, oh, this is not working or anything like that. But time comes, and it does take a lot of time to get to one place or get to that place that you want to be, or in the company. Like, I mean, for instance, one of my friends just started her like a therapy company kind of thing, like
Yeah.
for therapy. And she's like, I just need clients. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes time. Like, think about where we were 5 years ago. I mean, that's one thing that my generation lacks. We don't have patience. We just want things to happen then and there, and it's done. And it's like and I've really learned that, because patience is, I mean, it's a virtue. Like, you need to have patience, and then that's like one day it'll just go, like, and I'm like, that's what we don't have. Like, I'm telling you.
Look, and I'm going to tell you, it's a lost art, because it was taught to us growing up that you got to have patience to get through this. I mean, I think the late 70s, early 80s, they started introducing everything instant. And once that came in the fold, the society believed that everything had to be here and now right away. But what I found out over time is that if you have a person has patience and build rapport, it will work out. And sometimes you're going to fail, and you may have to reschedule it and reorganize yourself, but never give up. And it's the key word that I'm going to take from you. Stay overall with your goals and mission. It may look different in the end. I think the people get fixated on what something's supposed to look like,
and know what it is, what actually is.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And people, I mean, and that's the thing, it's so cliche to say, but it's like, it's so true at the same time. Like, if you really dig down into it, it's like, wow, yeah, I just gave up on that, and I'm like, well, that's not going to help me in any way. Just giving up is actually going to put a setback on where I am, because I don't have that like perseverance to move forward,
Right. So why do so many people, and this is a great segue before we get to the end of this, but why do so many people care about what other people think? So this is the biggest thing I found about failure with your generation. And it's not a knock. It's just something I see they struggle with, is they're more concerned about what everyone's going to think, because they didn't elevate to where they needed to be at the time they wanted to personally, but they have time in the whole life in front of them to get there. Why do they struggle so much with when they have a little bit of a setback? Because they're so concerned about what other people think. I mean, so how do you handle that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take blame for myself. I was in those, like, the shoes before too. Like, I always thought, like, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want so-and-so what they're going to think. But like, once I started getting there, I mean, and social media is a big one. Like, I always tell my friends, I'm like, why are you comparing yourself to another person? Like, they're not you. Right. Like, you have different amazing strengths that they don't, and vice versa. Like, it's no one person's the same. So I'm like, and it makes you different. And like, then what? If you're putting yourself out there and doing things differently, that's what sets you apart from other people. And I'm like, it's all comes back to the comparisons. I'm like, and I did that and I almost had to, like, I just kind of, even for Lent, I'm like, I'm giving up social media. And that was like my biggest thing, like social media, and especially like TikTok and everything like that. It's like, oh, they went famous just in one video. Yeah, but like, deep down, are they really happy with where they want to be? Like, that's what you really have to look at. Like, as long as you're happy within yourself, then that's what's going to drive you to go different places and get out of your comfort zone, because it's hard. It's like, especially with nowadays, and everyone's just behind a screen, And I'm like, right. That's not the real you. Like, you have to get out, go into places where you're uncomfortable, like you said, and just put yourself out there. Like, you are your own brand at the end of the day, like, and it's sad because it's how you treat people. Like, there's so many of my friends that just like cold shoulder people. And I'm like, for what reason? Like, there's no reason to do that. Like, as long as you're nice, they're going to look back in 10 years and be like, wow, like, she really she made an impact on my life or whatnot, because that's how it comes down to. It's,
Yep. Hey, guys, you heard it here. Megan's spot on about, you have to have a social stance in life, and that means you got to be present, and then you got to be present in the moment. Megan, it's been a pleasure having you on and Embrace the Power. I appreciate you taking the time. No, you're busy. No, but hey, but you know what? You got to keep it rolling and then just keep making the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.